New research from Stanford showing that we may age in bursts around age 44, that's me, great, and age 60. And those changes have a big impact, more importantly, on our health.
Let's discuss. Our medical expert, Dr. Pyle Coley, is here to kind of break it down. Tell us about this aging in bursts. Like, what does that mean? Why does that happen?
Yeah, it's so funny. We thought for the longest time, every day we're a little bit older than the day before. It was a linear aging process, we thought. But what these researchers did is they looked at a number of proteins in the blood and they found it actually happens in bursts. And so overall, we age around that 44 and 60. And what you see around age 44 is the changes in the skin, the muscle, alcohol metabolism, and our cardiovascular markers. And then around age 60, we see a lot of those same changes, plus factors like kidney, dementia, and cancer as well. And if you think about aging, guys, all our organs are actually aging at different rates as well. So the brain and the heart age the fastest in our body. They start to decay the most, whereas some of our other organs sort of stay senescent for a while and then start aging more.
I feel like I'm your subject here because I've been telling you I can barely have one glass of wine without feeling like the difference that I never felt prior, and I'm noticing it in my skin. So how big of a role does genetics play as in comparison to what you're eating, if you're exercising enough?
This is fascinating too. So about 75% of it is modifiable and 25% is related to your genetics. So certainly genetics plays a role. We don't think it's a single gene. We think it's a combination of many different genes. But here's the interesting part. You can actually modify that 25% as well. So I like to say our genetics are our hardware that we're born with. And then the way that the genes are expressed, it's a phenomenon called epigenetics, is our software. What we do, whether we smoke, whether we exercise, whether we sleep, whether we stress, influences how our genes are expressed. So it's actually probably even more than 75% that's modifiable by lifestyle changes.
I'm curious if women are affected more by this, because I feel like men just say should get hotter, and like we have to work so hard. It's so annoying. But like menopause, for instance, does that play a role?
So we thought it did, but if you actually look at these markers and break them down by gender, you see similar patterns in men and women. So even though menopause is sort of seems externally to be an accelerated aging time point in our life, it probably more has to do just with the natural aging at that age 44. And men have a similar process called menopause. Where their testosterone levels start to decline in mid-ages as well. We don't talk about it as much because it's not as sudden, it's not as predictable, but it happens to them too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about in terms of like, is there a way to extend our lifespan? And I want to say that with quality of life, right?
Yep. So we talk about lifespan and we talk about health span. So I want to emphasize it's not just lifespan. We want to extend our health span. Healthy living, less dementia, less heart disease, less cancer. So all the things we've already talked about on the show that you guys know about, exercise, not drinking as much, getting enough sleep, those are all really important ways to extend. Vaccinations is another really important way. But something else we're learning is intermittent fasting, when done to animals, actually makes them live longer. So if you reduce the portions that you give to animals as they age, they actually age at a slower rate. So the way we eat has a huge influence on our aging. And what this study actually showed is that our gut microbiome, the bacteria that lives in our gut, also changes in those bursts at age 44 and age 60. So we need to modify not just what we eat, but how we eat at those ages.
Well, while you're here, let's talk about it. What is a good intermittent fasting for women like us in our 40s? Like, when should we start and stop eating throughout the day?
So usually I say you can eat between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Okay.
And then you don't eat the rest of the day. You can drink whatever you want. And that's a really nice way to do a couple of things.
Minus alcohol.
Minus alcohol. Thank you, Sam. Lots of water. It's to just limit your portions, limit the time that you're eating, but more importantly, give your gut a break, right? Because our gut is working all day long while we're awake because we're putting something in it constantly. So to repair cell damage, to help heal itself, you want to help our gut to do that. Trying to really get those 7 to 9 hours of sleep because that helps with our organs as well.
So hard, like easier said than done.
Right?
I'm not. I don't sleep. I do the intermittent fasting though.
You do?
Oh yeah.
So at what hour do you cut it?
About 6:30.
But if I told you that sleeping would make you live longer, Alex, might that motivate you?
Well, why don't we tell my 11-month-old baby and see if she can help mama out? But yeah, it makes
Hyper,
sense.
Stop.
Go to sleep. Hyper, no. White Lotus.
But
Oh, yes. This is so good.
you guys are awesome with your pop culture references. But so much to learn about aging. Most important message, it's in our control. We don't just have to accept it. Average age, life expectancy in the United States right now, 79. We need to push that
That
up
sounds
higher.
so young.
So
That is
young. I don't like
terrifying.
that. We gotta
And
push
that is much
up.
more than it was 100 years ago at 54. So let's take control, just really think about ourselves in that 44 and 60 age period.
Great messaging, Dr. Coley. Thank you.